Hi everyone, I've had quite a few questions about how I felt my knitted mittens and slippers, so I thought I'd show you exactly how I do it in the washing machine. In this video I'm felting my Frost Mittens, but this is the same general process I use for my other felted mittens and slipper patterns as well, including my newly launched Tabby Ballerina Slippers pattern. Just make sure you always follow the instructions in your specific patterns first, because the recommended temperature and spin speed may not be the same as what I'm using here. Felting can vary a lot depending on the yarn, the pattern and the washing machine, but once you get to know your own machine it becomes so much easier. So these are the mittens before felting. For this example I'm using Frost Mittens. One thing to note with this pattern is that the cuff is knit in superwash wool, so the cuff won't felt at all. And that's completely intentional and part of the design. But because of that, I like to leave a long yarn tail and weave it in after felting. If I cut before washing it, can sometimes come loose in the machine. For this pair, I'm using my washing machine on the delicate or fine wash program at 40 degrees and 800 RPM. On my machine this cycle takes about 48 minutes, but that can vary a lot from machine to machine. So again, always follow the instructions in your pattern first, as the recommended settings might be different from what I'm using in this example. I only use about half a tablespoon of regular laundry detergent, which is much less than it used for a normal wash. If you use too much detergent, they might not felt properly or even at all. And then I just start the cycle. And now we let the machine do the work. And remember to check on your felted mittens or slippers often to make sure they don't overfelt. After the first cycle, they're definitely started to felt, but they're still too big and not fully done yet. You can still see the stitches quite clearly, which usually means they need a bit more felting. So I'm putting them back in for a second cycle. This time I add another small amount of detergent and I also add a towel for a bit of extra friction. Personally, I prefer doing two shorter, gentler cycles rather than one harsher wash. I find it gives me more control and it feels much safer, especially if I'm still learning how a particular yarn behaves in a particular washing machine. The towel helps create a bit more friction in the wash, which usually helps the wool felt a little more. Now they're properly felted, and yes, they will come out looking small, curl up and a bit odd, but don't panic, that's completely normal, that's just how felting works. This is exactly how felted knits often look straight out the washing machine. The most important thing at this stage is to shape them as soon as the program ends, while they're still wet. While they're still wet, I like to put them on and gently shape them with my hands. You can stretch and smooth them into the final shape you'd want while they're still damp, and this step really does make a big difference. And of course, if you're felting slippers, you would put them on your feet to shape them, and then you could do the final details with your hands if necessary. Now these mittens are actually for my sister, and her hands are much smaller than mine, so I'm being careful not to stretch them too much. Once they're shaped, I take them off and leave them to dry in that shape. That way they dry in the shape and fit that you want. And that's the finished result. If you're felting for the first time, my best advice is to start gently and check after each cycle, rather than trying to do too much all at once. I nearly always prefer two shorter, gentler washes over one more aggressive wash, especially when I'm still getting used to a particular machine or I'm using a new yarn. And most importantly, shape them straight away while they're still wet, because that's what really helps you get the final fit you want.